Welcome to Charts Today. It is Tuesday, the 14th of July, and here we are looking at a chart of UK gas prices, NBP, National Balancing Point, and we're seeing that just pushing higher and higher and higher. So gas prices in the UK have gone from 95 pence per therm up to nearly, just over 120 pence per therm, nearly touching 130 pence per therm. So that's on 40 on 90, we're seeing a 50% increase in UK gas prices, which is going to have a massive effect on the UK economy. Similar in Europe, we're seeing TTF, the lead contract there, that's gone from 40 euros to 53 euros. So that really, again, is another big increase. And then if we look at power prices, that's even worse. We're seeing power prices just rocketing. This is the German power main contract, and UK power also breaking to new highs as well. So really significant moves in the energy market, and crude oil up at another 3% this morning. So this Middle East crisis is not going to go away. And things like jet fuel, that's up 14% this morning. That's really going to have a really big impact. And RBOB gasoline, which is the wholesale price at the US petrol pump, that's also now moving much higher as well. If we look at the daily chart, we did get as high as $4, and we are coming back now to the mid $3. So that's certainly going to get noticed in America, which is very heavily geared to gas prices. Well, what we call petrol, what they call gas or gasoline, if you like. So we're seeing here that's a really big move. The dollar, no big changes here. We're just really waiting for the break. The Japanese yen, that has been really interesting. We are just nudging that 162 level. If we look at the bond markets, though, we see here did touch 290 last few days. We have had a bit of a respite there. US bond yields rising. This inflationary effect of energy prices is going to come back. And if we look at UK gilts, just as we head into a new Prime Minister in the UK, we have got a new upside target generated yesterday, taking us to 5.5%. So government debt is going to get more expensive. Seeing in Germany, bond yields also generating a new upside target. And if we look at the Aussie market, we've got a little bit of respite there, but and again, just India up nearly 1% on their bond yield, having had some respite. But really quite interesting that we're seeing new upside targets for a lot of these bond market yields. So that is significant. Coming back to Bitcoin, they were hit yesterday. That was quite interesting seeing Bitcoin hit. We do have an upside target on the daily chart, but we look at the 60-minute chart, we can see we've just rolled over. So we are below the cloud there. We are still below the cloud, even though we've got an upside target on the daily, and that weekly chart is still very, very bearish. The Nasdaq, looking here on the short-term chart, we've got an upside target, but we notice that we're just struggling all the time. Lower high, lower high, lower high. There is some support at 29,000, but this is starting to look a little bit like a descending triangle pattern, which is not great news. We are seeing the future for the S&P fairly flat and the Nasdaq up slightly, so a mix there. UK market is down about 1/3%, and the DAX in Germany down 0.5%. This energy prices having a real effect on the German economy. That's going to be really quite key. We did see Asian indices largely up. We saw Japan up, Sensex in India down 0.5%, so a bit mixed there. Gold, looking at gold, we bounced on this 4,000 level. This is the short-term chart. Remember, we've talked about this trading range of 4,000, 4,200. So we come all the way back to test the bottom of the range. We need to hold that level. We did touch below 4,000. Silver equally in that 57.63 range. And palladium, we talked about having held up a little bit better. And if you look at the chart, we've got an unactivated upside target. Looking at the US tech stocks, Apple making a new high yesterday. Couldn't quite hold on to it, but interesting that it did make a new high. Amazon, not anywhere near a new high yet. We look at the 60-minute chart. We haven't got a little bit of recovery there. Microsoft, up 1.5%, but really not enough to change the picture there. And probably the big news is SpaceX. Downside targets there. And we've talked about this before. We can see SpaceX targets into the 130s. 135 is the actual IPO price for many. 150 was the launch price, if you like. A lot of people starting to enter into loss. Nvidia down 3.5%. Tesla down 3%. So some quite big falls there. The Dow, looking at the Dow yesterday, the Dow 30, Salesforce was the best performer, but that is little consequence when you look at that trend in Salesforce. Chevron up on the oil price, of course, and Nvidia was the worst performer. Looking at the UK market this morning, no big surprises that airlines are being hit and hotels, travel on that new oil price. And then if we look at the performers, BP and Shell, BP up 7%. Really big move there, upside target, but still below the cloud potentially. Looking at the 60-minute chart, you can see just a bit of a turnaround there. So it's a really mixed picture in the markets at the moment, but really, realistically, the oil price is having a very big effect. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, have a great day. Bye for now.